One of the most common questions I get asked is this: which vitamins are best for kids with ADHD? Well, if you've ever wondered this, today's your lucky day because that's what I'm going to answer in this video. Welcome to my channel where we discuss holistic, natural ways to reduce ADHD symptoms in children. Now, if you're new here, I'm Dana Kay. I'm a board-certified health and nutrition practitioner and ADHD expert. I specialize in working with families of kids with ADHD. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty details about vitamins, I actually want to explain a common misconception. Many people assume vitamins, minerals, and supplements all mean the same thing. So did I back in the day. But in reality, these words should not be used interchangeably. Vitamins are organic compounds that are essential for our body's normal growth and function. They are categorized into two types. We've got fat-soluble and water-soluble. Fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A, D, E, and K are stored in the body's fatty tissue and liver, and they are best absorbed when taken with food that contains fat. Water-soluble vitamins like vitamin C and all the B vitamins need to be taken more frequently because they are not stored in the body in significant amounts and they are excreted in the urine. The way I teach families to differentiate between vitamins and minerals is that vitamins typically have the word vitamin in front of them. So for instance, vitamin C, vitamin D, etc. Now, as I said, vitamins are organic compounds. Minerals, on the other hand, are inorganic elements. They are divided into two groups. We've got macro minerals such as calcium, magnesium, and potassium, which are required in larger amounts. And then we've got trace minerals such as iron, zinc, and selenium, which are needed in smaller amounts. Other supplements can include a wide range of substances such as amino acids, essential fatty acids like omega-3s, probiotics, and herbal extracts. These supplements can support the body in various ways, from improving the gut health and supporting the brain function to reducing inflammation. So, now that I've cleared that up, let's talk more about how vitamins and minerals can support kids with ADHD. ADHD, or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, it affects millions of families worldwide. And as you may already know, is categorized by symptoms like difficulty maintaining attention, hyperactivity, and impulsive behavior. ADHD can affect just about everything in a child's life, from academic performance to social interactions. ADHD also affects the entire family. Many parents tell me that they feel like they have to walk around on eggshells around their child with ADHD because they're never really sure when the next meltdown might happen. I definitely remember feeling like this with my son before we learned how to reduce his symptoms naturally. It was like every day was this emotional roller coaster, and we just never knew what might make him blow a fuse. What's often overlooked in the ADHD world is how interconnected our brain health is with our gut health. There's a growing body of evidence suggesting that gut health can play a pivotal role in managing ADHD symptoms. In fact, this research is what finally convinced me and my husband to use natural strategies with my own son. And now he's thriving, completely medication-free, and I've helped over 1,000 other families as well. So by addressing the health of the gut through diet and adding in vitamins, minerals, and other supplements, when needed, we can really start to reduce those ADHD symptoms. Now, it's important in this conversation to start by understanding exactly what vitamin and mineral deficiencies are. Okay, so we're going to understand this now. Deficiencies occur when the body lacks what it needs to function at its best. Unfortunately, these deficiencies are becoming more and more common in kids today. Now, you might be wondering, why is this happening more today than it used to? Now, in today's fast-paced world with the rise of processed foods, people are eating far fewer whole foods and much more junk food and fast food. Processed foods don't have the vitamins and minerals that the whole foods have. Plus, processed foods often lead to the breakdown of the gut, which result in our bodies not being able to process or absorb these vitamins and minerals we do receive. So, we're eating less foods to begin with that contain vitamins and minerals, and we're also not able to process or absorb them as well because our guts are compromised, and that is compromising our health. Another reason many of us have broken down guts is because of things like antibiotics use. Now, antibiotics disrupt that delicate balance of the gut microbiome. They work by killing bacteria, causing the infection, but can also inadvertently eliminate the beneficial bacteria in the gut. This reduction in beneficial bacteria can lead to an imbalance, which is known as dysbiosis, which can compromise digestive health and break down the gut even more. So, when you think about all of these factors, you can understand why more and more kids are showing vitamin and mineral deficiencies on lab tests. Now, I promise to share some of my favorite vitamins and minerals, ones that I see a lot of kids with ADHD lacking. I'm going to list them out here, but then I'm going to go into more detail later on in this video, so make sure you stick around. Number 1 is an omega-3 fatty acid. 2, magnesium. 3, probiotics. Number 4, vitamin D. B vitamins like B6, B12, folate. Number 6 is iron, and number 7 is zinc. These 7 vitamins and minerals are some of my favorite ones for kids with ADHD because they are the ones that these kids are often lacking. Now, as I said, I'm going to go into more detail about each of these later on, but first, let's talk about some ways that you might be able to tell if your child is lacking in any of these vitamins or minerals. One thing to keep in mind as I list the following signs and symptoms, your child doesn't need to have all of them to have a deficiency. So we're going to identify vitamin and mineral deficiencies. Now, first up is signs of omega-3 deficiencies. These may include things like poor memory and concentration, mood swings and depression, dry skin, fatigue, joint pain, poor vision. Signs of magnesium deficiencies can include muscle cramps and spasms, mental disorders such as anxiety and depression, insomnia or poor sleep quality, fatigue and muscle weakness, high blood pressure and irregular heartbeat. Number 3, so we're going to move on to probiotics. Probiotics are beneficial bacteria that play a key role in gut health, which is linked to brain function and mood regulation. While not a traditional deficiency, an imbalance in the gut flora can definitely lead to things like mood disorders, including depression and anxiety, digestive issues such as bloating, gas, diarrhea, or constipation, cognitive problems such as issues with focus, executive function, planning, problem solving, skin conditions such as rashes and eczema, frequent infections like UTIs, yeast infections, or frequent colds. Next up is signs of vitamin D deficiencies, and these include fatigue and tiredness, depression, bone pain and weakness, muscle weakness, frequent infections or illnesses, and slow wound healing. Signs of B vitamin deficiencies include confusion or memory problems, fatigue, irritability or depression, anemia, weakness, nerve damage with symptoms like numbness or tingling. Next up is iron, and it's essential for creating hemoglobin, which is a protein in red blood cells that carries oxygen throughout the whole body. So signs of iron deficiencies include things like fatigue and weakness, pale skin, inattention and distractible, impulsivity and hyperactivity, oppositional defiance, cold hands and feet, shortness of breath, dizziness or lightheadedness, and brittle nails. Next up is zinc, and it plays a role in immune function, wound healing, and even DNA synthesis. So signs of zinc deficiencies include things like weakened immune systems, picky eating or decreased appetite, mood disturbances, poor neurological function, delay wound healing, hair loss, diarrhea. Now, it's important for parents to be aware of these symptoms as they may indicate a need for dietary adjustments or supplementation, particularly in children with ADHD who might have unique nutritional requirements. Now, if you suspect your child may have a vitamin deficiency, I recommend consulting with a healthcare provider or a nutrition specialist to determine the best course of action for your child. In our ADHD Thrive Method for Kids program, we use functional lab tests to identify and then precisely target these vitamin and mineral deficiencies that may be contributing to a child's ADHD symptoms. These tests really go beyond that conventional diagnostics. They really offer a deeper insight into the unique biochemical landscape of each individual child. And really by pinpointing specific nutritional imbalances, such as deficiencies in essential vitamins and minerals crucial for that brain health and that function, we can create a targeted diet and supplementation plan. Our approach really ensures that each child receives the nutrients their body actually needs. I've actually set aside some time in my team's schedule over the next few weeks to talk with you more about this if you'd like. So if you'd like to schedule a free call with my team, definitely check out the video description below where there's a link to book that free call. Next up, we're going to be talking about enhancing the vitamin and mineral intake through diet. It's always best to get what you can from the diet. So a diet that's rich in fruits, vegetables, lean proteins like grass-fed beef, wild-caught fish, and organic turkey and chicken, and whole gluten-free grains is the best way to do this. Now, when possible, we want to get all of our vitamins and minerals through food. But I can definitely hear the questions already. I can hear, how am I supposed to get my child to eat these foods? What if they're a picky eater or have dietary restriction? Listen, I get it. It can be hard to change the diet of a family, especially when you have picky eaters. I have a couple of videos to specifically address the challenge right here on my YouTube channel. I'll add those links to those videos in the description below. So be sure and check those out if you have a picky eater. But I'm going to give you some practical tips for implementation. Here are some approaches that some of the families in my program are using to help with this. You can use these tips to get started today. Number 1, only introduce 1 or 2 new foods at a time. Trying more than that can make the experience really overwhelming and stressful. And always pair new foods with one familiar food that your child enjoys. Always offering one thing that you know they will eat will ensure their weight does not drop too much. Next up at number 2, try new foods during the time of day that you know your child is going to be hungry. This way, they will be more open and willing to taste new foods. Is your child starving when they come home from school? Why don't you offer his dinner then and just give a snack later while the rest of the family is having dinner? Number 3, just try to be calm and upbeat during meal times. You need to try and remain as calm and positive as possible when things aren't going exactly to plan. When my boys were younger, I used to encourage them to crunch their food like a bunny rabbit, or give that food a lick like a puppy dog, and we would all giggle and it took the tension out of dinner time. Now, for older kids, take a joke book to the table, share a joke before the meal, and for everything new thing that they try, just a small taste or even a lick, they can find a new joke to share. Number 4 is food chaining, and food chaining is a technique I commonly use for families in my program. You learn the secret to change the shape, change the seasoning, change the cooking method, and change the way your child tries the same food in different ways. For example, a potato. It can be prepared a million different ways. Don't change the food that they enjoy, change the way you serve it. Change the texture, and the seasoning. Include herbs and spices. Just keep changing and introducing it. Change up the shape, the seasoning, the preparation. You can deep fry, pan fry, make into mash, tots, add spices, combine with sweet potato mash. It's all about changing things really slowly and carefully, starting from a base that your child already enjoys. Now, did you know that it takes a child about 15 to 20 times to accept a new flavor or new texture? Just remember that one. So as a quick recap, hot tip number 1, only introduce 1 or 2 new foods at a time. Hot tip number 2, try new foods during the time of the day that you know your child is going to be hungry. Hot tip number 3, try to be calm and upbeat during meal times. Hot tip number 4, food chaining. I also wanted to quickly share 2 other tidbits to think about. Zinc deficiency can be a big driver for picky eating, so definitely get that checked out if you can. I've got a video with more information about this, so I'll link to that in the description below. Be sure and check it out if you have a picky eater. And one final thing to keep in mind. When you start reducing inflammation in the body, in the brain, and the gut, you would be surprised at how much their palate opens up. But again, if you have a picky eater, check out the video description for additional videos on these topics. So, vitamins to focus on for ADHD in children. Now, what if, even after improving the diet, you still suspect your child is deficient in specific vitamins or minerals? Or what if you've gotten some functional lab testing done and you're actually seeing deficiencies? Is it okay to just pick up a supplement bottle from a local pharmacy or from the grocery store? How can you know you're getting high quality supplements? Now, as I mentioned earlier, before you begin supplementing, it's always best, if possible, to test first. This will ensure that you are giving your child's body exactly what it needs. But if testing is not an option, I do want to share about those vitamins and minerals that I mentioned earlier that I have found to be beneficial for many kids with ADHD. These are a really great base. They're really great base supplements to begin with that just about everyone can benefit from, even me, even you. Now, there's always a chance that one particular child might not necessarily need one or more of these based on his or her individual body and what he or she is already getting from the diet. So always consult your health practitioner before starting any new supplements. Okie dokie. We're going to talk about enhancing those vitamin and minerals through the supplementation. And first up is omega-3 fatty acids. These are not vitamins or minerals, but they are really important for brain health. Omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids are polyunsaturated fatty acids that are actually meant to be in a 1-to-1 ratio in the body. Unfortunately, due to the Western diet, the amount of omega-6 in our bodies has reached unprecedented proportions and actually results in inflammation. It results in blood pressure and heart disorders. But in contrast, omega-3, which comes from a Mediterranean diet, is extremely low in most Americans. And the deficiency of omega-3 and the overload of omega-6 can cause ADHD symptoms in children. And research suggests it can be treated by incorporating foods that naturally contain fatty acids like fish and nuts. However, since many children have insufficient consumption of these foods, supplements can definitely be effective. Now, in fact, there are some studies out there that suggest that fish oil can improve memory, hyperactivity, clear thinking, behavioral disorders, and organizational skills in children. Omega-3 fatty acids can be found in oily fish like salmon, trout, mackerel, tuna, and sardines, and in nuts like almonds, walnuts, hazelnuts, and pecans, and seeds like chia, flax, and pumpkin seeds. Omega-6 fatty acids are found in many plant-based oils, or alternatively, you can try supplementation. Now, my favorite omega supplement is called Omega Thrive, and you can find the link to the video in the description below. Next up is a good quality probiotic. As I already mentioned, there is a close link between the gut and the brain. And when the gut is not functioning well, the brain can't function at its best either. And the brain has many areas that are involved in gut function, but one of the main areas is the frontal lobe. And the frontal lobe is involved in things like attention, focus, executive function, planning, organizing, problem solving. These are areas that many of our kids with ADHD struggle with. So ensuring the gut is functioning at its best will ensure our child's frontal lobe is functioning well too. Research shows that taking probiotics can help support that gut-brain connection. But the problem with a lot of probiotics is that the strains don't survive digestion. So you want to make sure you are getting a high quality one that does. Not all probiotics are created equal. That's why I love a supplement called ProThrive so much. Most probiotics don't survive digestion, but ProThrive does. It actually reseeds the gut rather than putting in strains that go away once the supplement is stopped. This formulation contains clinically tested powerhouse ingredients, including those spore-forming, reseeding probiotics that can survive digestion and reseed the gut. Now, did you know that many probiotics on the market don't even survive the digestive tract? It also contains non-spore-forming probiotics, in particular one called B. longum. It's a psychobiotic which really helps with that calm yet focused state of mind. It also contains saffron extract. And that's a huge reason why I love ProThrive so much. Along with providing a probiotic that supports that gut-brain connection, ProThrive also contains saffron. And the saffron in ProThrive, especially when paired with the two forms of probiotic, can have some pretty powerful effects. In fact, one study, researchers tested the effects of saffron extract on 54 children aged 6 to 17 with ADHD. Approximately half of the participants received saffron, while the other half received methylphenidate, which is a common prescription medication used to treat ADHD. Then they tracked ADHD symptoms at a baseline, so at the start, and again at week 3 and week 6. Saffron showed equal efficacy as methylphenidate. Crazy! My mind was literally blown. At the time, I had no idea there was a supplement that could be as effective as a prescription medication, which is huge. It's huge. Now, again, you can't supplement your way out of a poor diet or a body riddled with inflammation. So you can't expect any supplement or a pill to be the be-all and end-all for ADHD. But seriously, you guys, this is amazing to think about. There's a reason so many parents are trying this game-changing supplement because it really is a game changer. Parents have reported a calm yet focused state of mind with this. Isn't that what we all want? And they are getting these results without toxic meds and without the terrible side effects to worry about. My favorite probiotic, like I said, is called ProThrive, and you can find the link to that in the video description below. Probiotics can also be found naturally in kombucha, dark chocolate, and fermented foods. Next up is magnesium, and this mineral is used in over 300 biochemical processes in the body. It is important for muscle relaxation, supporting the immune system, keeping your heartbeat steady, regulating blood glucose levels, and aiding in the production of energy. So many different things. And many parents find that magnesium makes a surprising difference to their kids' anxiety or depression. It also aids in sleep. It also reduces hyperactivity, and there are even studies supporting the efficacy of magnesium in anxiety, depression, and sleep. You know, stress really depletes magnesium levels. So if you are already low in magnesium, anxiety can actually make your levels even worse. So it becomes this vicious cycle. So it makes a lot of sense that many parents out there say magnesium was the game changer for their families. Magnesium-rich foods include things like spinach, asparagus, cabbage, avocado, bananas, seeds, nuts, peas, broccoli, dark chocolate, or oily fish. Or if you want to try supplementation, my favorite magnesium is called Mind Thrive, and you can find the link to that in the video description below. Next is vitamin D, and it's often referred as the sunshine vitamin. Vitamin D helps regulate the synthesis of neurotransmitters, which are really important for brain communication and mood balance. Vitamin D deficiency has been linked to various neurological and psychiatric disorders. Many Americans do not get sufficient amount of sunlight and therefore are deficient in vitamin D. Me including. I live in Seattle, Washington. A vitamin D supplement can work wonders to improve the symptoms of ADHD and anxiety, especially when it is taken with a supplement of omega-3 fatty acids. And that's because these macronutrients regulate serotonin production, our feel-good hormone, which is linked to social behavior, appetite, sleep, digestion, and memory. Vitamin D will also generally help reduce inflammation in the body, which is the key to healing and thriving. One of the best natural ways to get more vitamin D is to get outside in the sunshine, but as this is not always possible, a vitamin D supplement can be super beneficial as well. My favorite vitamin D supplement is called Shine Thrive, and you can find the link to that in the video description below. Next up is B vitamins. These are also really important for brain health, helping with the production of neurotransmitters such as serotonin and dopamine, which really influence mood and brain function. I typically advise parents, if they're concerned about B vitamins, to dig deeper through genetic testing, as there are some key genetic factors that can affect how well the body is able to absorb B vitamins. Next up is iron. Many people only associate low levels of iron with anemia, but iron is critical for optimum brain function. Some researchers also believe that low levels of iron can be an underlying stressor for ADHD. Iron deficiency levels are inversely correlated with severity of ADHD, meaning that the children with the most severe iron deficiency are often the most inattentive, the most impulsive, and the most hyperactive. This research suggests that low iron stores may explain as much as 30% of ADHD severity. Some foods that are naturally high in iron include lean beef, poultry, oysters, shellfish, cashews, pumpkin seeds, quinoa, spinach, broccoli, and dark chocolate. Next up is zinc. Zinc is a powerful antioxidant. It boosts cell growth and development, and it improves immunity. It also aids in the creation of neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, those really happy, feel-good neurotransmitters which are associated with improved mood, social development, and sleep. Now, another reason zinc is so important is because of how it relates to copper in the body. When zinc is low and copper gets high, this can lead to a deficiency of dopamine. Because of this, balancing out that copper-zinc ratio is really important. And the usual way to do this is to increase zinc. Zinc is also important when it comes to things like brain development, auditory processing, language processing, sensory processing, eye contact, muscle tone. And research has found that zinc supplementation can really be helpful in reducing ADHD symptoms, which is what we want. Now, as mentioned earlier, low levels of zinc can actually lead to picky eating. So that's another reason this mineral is so important for kiddos. Now, each of these supplements can be beneficial for just about everyone, but these are my top supplements for kids with ADHD because of how effective they often are at reducing common ADHD symptoms, and because these kids can really benefit from the vitamins and the minerals in these supplements. Now, as you start addressing vitamin and mineral deficiencies to really manage and reduce those ADHD symptoms, I encourage you to keep a detailed track of the changes in your child or your child's symptoms. Documenting these changes can provide invaluable insights into how specific nutritional adjustments are impacting your child. Use a journal or a digital app to note daily intake of food, supplements, and any noticeable shifts in their behavior, their focus, sleep patterns, and their emotional state. This practice helps you identify what works best for your child. Each child's response to nutritional changes can vary, so this personalized record can really help you tailor your approach for your child's needs. I hope this video has been helpful. Improving vitamin and mineral deficiencies, as we have discussed, is a huge part of managing ADHD naturally. And look, I know it can be so overwhelming, but remember, as I always say, Rome wasn't built in a day, and you don't have to make all of these changes in a day either. One step at a time. I know you've got this, and we're here to help each step of the way. If you haven't yet watched my ADHD fast class on natural strategies to support kids with ADHD, check it out in the video description below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Bye for now. See you in the next video.